I think we will start up now. So we would encourage everyone, if your name to check your name, ensure that it's your full name on there, and if you'd like, you can put your organization with it. And we would encourage people to have their video on when possible, just to interact with the group a bit more. Welcome to our meeting today. I'd just like to introduce a couple new members, and when I announce you, if you'd be willing to just give a quick blurb about who you are and what you do, appreciate that. We have Ron Evans from the National Research Council. I don't know if he's on the call now. I saw there's a couple coming in. Actually, I don't see Ron on the call just yet, but I do see some of his co-workers here. So I guess Ketan, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hi guys, Ketan Ramji. My name is Ketan Ramji. I'm part of the NRC IRAP group. I don't know how many people know about NRC necessarily, but it's quite an old organization that's national. From a research perspective, it's federal, and within it, there's a small group of people that's national that basically provide advice, funding, and connections for any company that's out there innovating. And this is at the federal level. Most people love us for the money, but we also do provide highly the underrated service, I would say, underappreciated service is the connections and the advisory, because there were a group of people that have been there, done that, and come from multiple disciplines. My background is software, technology, delivery, business, etc. So, and I'm sure Kit, who's on here, will introduce himself with other specialties. Anyway, it's a pleasure to join this group. I hadn't realized how large this group is, but it's great to be on it, and hope to help out anybody we can. So that's my intro.
Happy to have you.
Just one more thing. I'm based in the London area. If for anybody who's wondering, we've got 4 of us over here. So I've been in London for over 35 years.
And we also have Kit Mann on the call.
Hey everyone. Yeah, Kit Mann. I'm the Niagara ITA. Ketan, thank you so much. That's a perfect introduction. Yeah, that's what we focus on. Our expertise, the connections, the referrals, and the funding. And my background is more on the agricultural side of things. So, I've worked in a lot of indoor farming operations, so both on the academic side and then the private sector. So private sector was cannabis and vertical farming. And thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you for being here. Is there anyone else new on the call that I've missed? No? Okay, then we will move on to our presentation. So we have Jeff Beaudoin, who is going to be presenting on Critical Industry Technologies Program. And he's from the OCI. I'll let you take it off from there.
Thanks, Aaron. So my name is Jeff Beaudoin. I am from the Ontario Centre of Innovation. So all of our programs are focused around Ontario. I'll preface that before I go in, because I know there's people from a bit outside of Ontario on here, but there might be an angle that we could work together. So I will just share my screen to the deck. And I will go back to the beginning. So just to start off the presentation here today, so the Ontario Centre of Innovation is a third-party funding agency from the province of Ontario, with a focus on funding programs between R&D, with partnerships between industry and academia, as well as within tech adoption across all industries. So we really do have a wide range of programming. And the main reason I wanted to have an opportunity to speak today is because one of our programming that will be coming out starting in April has a focus on 4 specific industries and sectors and critical technologies in that. And one of those critical technologies is robotics, and one of the industries is in agriculture. But before I dive into the critical industrials program, I just want to touch on some of our other funding just at a very high level. And one of the ones that is likely the most accessed and most commonly used would be our Collaborate to Commercialize program, which is a funding program where it's available for companies to get up to 150,000, for academia and industry collaboration for up to $150,000 for funding for any R&D. It can be any industry, and the R&D can be anything from the development of a new ice cream flavor all the way up to using AI algorithms to create more efficiencies, as long as there's a path for the R&D to be potentially commercialized within 3 years at the end of the funding program. And all of the work, all of the applications and the funding flows through the academic institutions, and that can be either colleges or universities. And so I just want to touch on that program because it's a fairly popular one, and it can be applied to any industry and any sort of research that might be going on out there too. And now I'll dive into the Critical Industrial Technologies program. So this new program, as I mentioned, will be starting later this month, I believe. March 26th, I think, is when the first official launch date is. So what the goal of it is to really propel the use of technology and critical technologies in industries that maybe aren't as quick to adopt, which I'm sure many of you know when you think about the agricultural industry. It isn't necessarily the quickest to adopt new technologies, and there's a bit of encouragement and that has to be done when it comes to that. The other industries are your mining, construction, and advanced manufacturing outside of automotive. So there is a variety of funding programs within this bank of money called the Critical Industrial Technologies program that would be able to be accessed. So it's a 3-year program at the start for up to $50 million is the funding pool that we're pulling from. And it's really supporting SMEs and industry collaboration to work together to have that adoption piece. So this slide here is, I think, is one of the better slides that we have that lays it out quite well. So as I mentioned, we have our construction, advanced manufacturing, agri-food, and mining industries are the strategic sectors. And the critical technologies that we look at are quantum, cybersecurity, robotics, 5G, AI, and blockchain. A lot of the times when you consider those critical technologies, they work together quite well. So there is a lot of opportunities to maybe touch on both of them, but it really is a nice focus on those technologies which can create efficiencies in those strategic sectors that we're talking about here. And then as today, agri-food is where we will be focusing the conversation a bit more. So the program streams, there's 4 separate program streams within the CIT program: the development and commercialization, the talent technology access program, sector adoption, and talent development. So with one thing I'll point out here, and I'm sure you can see acronyms all over this slide, but the TDS piece, and I should have mentioned it earlier. Within this program, there will be technology demonstration sites for companies to be able to demonstrate their technologies, and they will be located all across Ontario. We're still in the process of setting up variety of different sites, but every industry will have at least one technology demonstration site in the province of Ontario. So when you're looking at the development and commercialization portion, that's more of an R&D portion that will be used for this program for $50,000 to $200,000 for SMEs at a 1-to-1 match. And there needs to be touching on at minimum one strategic sector and leveraging one of those technology demonstration sites, and with that one critical technology. So there is that piece, but of course you can have more of those more strategic sectors and more critical technologies involved into one. When you're thinking about robotics, there's a lot of AI components when it comes to programming that could be applied there. So we aren't limiting it to only the one type. And with that 1-to-1 match, it gives a bit of flexibility. A lot of our programs, there is an in-kind component that can count towards the match coming from the SME too. So there is that expertise that can be applied. Our technology access program. So this is really an opportunity for SMEs to really access those technology demonstration sites. We haven't gone public with what those are, so I can't speak on where they are currently, but it'll give opportunities for SMEs to go to these technology demonstration sites and really show off what they do or test their technologies that they've been working on right now. So it gives an opportunity for maybe that lab work or that R&D work to be used out in a space that technology that they've been working on and researching to really show off what it is. The largest funding stream is the sector adoption. So what this sector adoption piece is there will be a sector challenge given out by a large industry player. The easy example, I'm up in the Sudbury area, so the one I always think of is the mining sector. So if you have like a player like a Valet, or when I'm thinking agriculture, you could say someone like a Quaker Oats gives out a challenge that they've been facing where they think that technologies could help them create efficiencies. And SMEs will have an opportunity to go through the proposal process, and it's up to $1 million worth of project for $1 million of funding per project for a $3 million project dollar. And there needs to be again, you have to leverage with the technology demonstration sites and have that critical technology piece, but they are really industry driven. And typically these programs do include an industry partner too. So it wouldn't be the one putting out the sector challenge you'd include, but so for a robotics company, if they're developing their own robot or something along those lines, and in the agriculture industry, they could be partnering with maybe a large manufacturer so that they can potentially have their robotics technology used on that large manufacturer, or for proof of concept to really just make sure that there is that availability there. And then there also is academia that always comes into any of one of these programs. The only issue sometimes with academia is that we aren't able to leverage their funds because it would be provincial funds. So if it is a program where it's industry funds coming in, where you're able to leverage them from your partners, but if it is academia, because it's provincial funding, we aren't able to leverage that. And then the other program is the talent development program. So it's up to $10,000 worth of funding for interns and employee training. And these programs are massed at 1-to-1, but it gives opportunities for SMEs to really have their current staff get up to date, or have opportunities to learn a bit more about the critical technologies, so that they're able to be more adaptable and more forward in the technology adoption piece when they maybe are transitioning to have those critical technologies. Their staff would be ready for that. And then this slide deck will be shared. I sent it out to Aaron, and you're more than welcome to share it out to everyone as well, because I know there's a lot of words, and I know I only want to keep it to about 10 minutes because it seemed like a busy schedule. So there is these minimum requirements and expectations that you can see here, but they're really the key minimum requirements that we see within all of our OCI programming is that a maximum of 499 employees or less with a permanent establishment in Ontario. This doesn't mean that a company can't be from outside of Ontario. There needs to be some sort of establishment in Ontario where they have operations. It has to be significant. It can't just be a satellite office with one person, for example. If they had an office with 10 people in Ontario, and if they were going through this program and they could have that increase in staff, there is an opportunity potentially to this program that they can have that sort of angle. There's just the key takeaways at all the times with OCI programming is that there is that economic benefit for Ontario with jobs and sales and revenues and those sort of pieces. So that is a pretty important piece when considering any one of our programs, and specifically with this new one that will be coming out. I'm just checking the clock here, and I think I've been talking for close to 10 minutes, so I won't go too much further.
Don't cut yourself off too much. Keep going if you need to. Yeah, finish your presentation.
So, and then this is the sector adoption details, which is the largest funding stream. I did want to talk about this. So the industry partners are you do have to have one industry partner that is a larger larger company in those one of the strategic sectors. So they do play a part in applying for it. There's a letter of support. They would need to be involved in the funding agreement, and there is a lot of, they do play a significant role in that, but all of the applications are driven from the SMEs. Again, the SME definition is under 500 employees for us, and they really lead the application. And a lot of the times with these SMEs and with the critical industrial technologies program is we'll have a lot of ideas around having academic institutions or advisory committees involved with it, just to help with the progress of those critical technologies. And so the sector adoption piece is, I'm really excited for it, because it's really going to be industry driven, where a large industry company will be coming out and saying, we're having this issue, we want ways to say what, to have it be solved. And we think that these potential technologies could help. And then SMEs can present their ideas and really have an opportunity to work directly with that large industrial company. So there is a lot of opportunities here, but it is, again, you do need to have the industry partner to complement the application. And then this is just going into the talent development and future skills. So the future skills program is the one where you're looking at bringing an intern. Is the one where you're looking at training your current employees to make sure that they're ready for transition into the CIT programming. And the talent development one is the internship stream. So you have it's $10,000 per 4-month unit for eligible salary costs, up to a maximum of 2 units. So it's 20,000, and there is an expectation for the SME to contribute at a 1-to-1 match with that. And you can see the details down here that it can be a recent graduate or a graduate in their final year. So there is that flexibility with our funding program, with this talent development program, where it doesn't have to, I think it's up to 3 years after graduation that they can still be eligible for this talent development. You would just need to have a candidate in mind prior to applying to the program. So this is just an idea of where our current technology sites. I can't speak to what the exact sites are right now, just because it hasn't been released. But we are looking to expand the technology demonstration sites that we can use, because as you can tell, they are quite spread out. And I'm sure that many of you looking at the map, you can kind of guess which sites are in which area and which industries maybe are in different spots. But we have a few up in the Northern Ontario, sort of GTA, a bit southwestern, and then the east right now. And we're looking to add more dots on that map. So I'm more than happy to take suggestions, because I know our critical industrial technologies team is really looking forward to meeting with more companies to discuss those opportunities. I won't go too much into this, because it is a lot of words, and this is more of a diving deeper into the process and the way that it walks through what the application looks like. And as I mentioned, I'm more than happy to have Aaron share out this slide deck where you can look at it and get a better idea of what this looks like. And the next slide is very similar. It really walks through the process of what it will look like, what the sector adoption looks like there too. So that is, oh, I have this slide too. Sorry, I thought I had my last slide there, but here we go. So this is just sort of timelines for what we're looking at for the program itself, with Q1, which would kick off March 24. I think, like I said, I think it's March 26th is when the first sector adoption is coming out, and that will be with our labs. And I believe that one's more in the construction sector. So we don't have, and then the second challenge coming out in May, and third and fourth coming out in June. So I actually don't even know what key verticals or key sectors those challenges will be falling into. So I'm interested to see what those look like too, and we're looking at more sector adoption. So that would be out for all industries. And then in Q2, we're expecting to have another agri-food challenge come out as well. And Q3 having a mining challenge. So and with that within the first year, we're looking to have about a $7 million budget spend. and then from there, just increasing those numbers so that we can spend the full amount. So that is everything I have for my presentation. I appreciate the time to present today, and thank you for listening.
So we have a couple questions for you as well.
Yeah.
Does this mean that the TDS sites are already chosen for the ag-related spaces?
So some, I believe there might be one ag-related TDS site, but there still is opportunities for sites to get involved if they're interested. We're still negotiating, and it's not something that because I think we only have 5 or 6.
Mhm.
We're looking to expand that portfolio of TDSs, and we'd like it to be able to be spread out a bit more around Ontario too. I know, as I'm in the north, I would love to see a TDS up in Temiskaming because they're a huge agricultural space, but it's a matter of finding the right fit, really.
And then I had 2 questions asking on what defines a larger company. Very few agri-food companies have over 500 companies, or 500 employees, sorry.
Yeah, so it's tough definition, really. So a lot of the times we're looking at medium-sized businesses fall into there as well. So it could be your 200 plus, and the industry partners can be multinationals too. They don't necessarily have to be in Ontario. The applicants typically have to be in Ontario, but any funding coming from outside companies can be outside of Canada even. So there is a bit of flexibility with that. So that's probably the best way I can answer that. I know as long as they can show the capacity that they can support and create industry impact by participating in the project, we'll consider them as an industry partner.
Okay. Is there a limit on how long a project can be, i.e., can it span fiscal years?
So I don't know fully what the guidelines look like for this program, but in the past, most of our programs are anywhere from 6 to 24 months typically. So we do typically see around 2 years. And I know we have a similar program in the sector adoption in our vehicle innovation stream, which is, I believe, up to 2 years. So I'm expecting it to be in that 2-year range as max project length.
Can PhD or postdocs be considered as interns?
Yes. So graduate level students can be considered for interns. There's definitely opportunities there. I'm not sure if there's a funding difference with them, unfortunately, but they still would be able to be considered.
Any other questions? I see David, you have one.
Yeah, can industry associations be considered the industry partner?
So unfortunately, I don't believe they could. They would be able to be part of the industry. I can't remember the exact wording, the industry advisory piece, just because the industry partner needs to be a for-profit company. But we're always happy to have industry associations as like an advisory, and it strengthens applications when looking at them to see that an association would want to participate in it.
Kristen, you have a question?
Well, a question and a comment. Thanks very much for your presentation. I think I see a lot of synergies or possible synergies for the future with the AgRobotics Working Group and the Innovation Farms initiatives that's underway right now. So we really look forward to see what those calls look like coming forward. So please keep us in mind when those are announced.
Absolutely. I'll be happy to share it out as soon as I know more. It's very early stage. We haven't even fully announced yet. I'm excited for it because this program's brand new, and it's a whole new angle for OCI to approach. And in industries we really haven't touched on that much before. I know agriculture and mining specifically haven't been an area where OCI has been able to participate as much, just with the way our programs work out.
We also have Carl asking, would you be able to share your email to have follow-up conversations?
Yeah, I'm typing it in the chat there. I saw that come in. So I will put that in the chat for people. Reach out to me anytime you want. I'm always happy to have a chat and see where you can help.
Any other questions for Jeff? No? Oh, no? Okay. Just thought I'd check there. Thank you, Jeff. Really appreciate the presentation and the time you took to come out and present that all to us. I'm sure you'll have a couple people following up with you going forward.
Perfect. Thanks for having me, and
Okay.
appreciate the opportunity to connect with everyone.
Absolutely. Thank you. I
Thank you.
also saw we had Ron Evans join the call now. Ron, if you'd like to introduce yourself as a new member. Put me on the spot. Oh, maybe he's not. No. There he is.
There we go. Yeah, sorry about that. I got stuck on a software upgrade when you're beginning the talks earlier. Yeah, I'm certainly NRC IRAP active, of course, as a group across country. We do see a number, mostly in the ag, from my lens. In any case, I'm specialized in the ag space, the vertical farm, the controlled environment agriculture type stuff. But that said, we deliver the program to any SME that's technology based, for-profit Canadian incorporated kind of thing. So, so I've been on the periphery of a number of ag-related developments in terms of supporting firms, and mostly it's been in the harvesting aspect through to mostly harvesting, but we've done some pretty interesting stuff on robotic. For example, harvesting of mushrooms, which is working out very well. There's a couple other ones too. They're just a bit sensitive in terms of my ability to speak about them. But bottom line, I've been aware of this group for a while, and I've peeked in on a few occasions, and of course, always look forward to finding fit and opportunities to work together as well, for sure.
Fantastic. Well, we're happy to have you with the group.
Thank you.
And we will move on to our next section, which is conferences, meetings, and field tours and demonstrations. So currently ongoing is the London Farm Show. I know Chuck and I were there the last 2 days. It's still ongoing currently, but Chuck had been having demonstrations going on, and I'm waiting to hear on what the actual turnout was, but it seemed to be pretty well received so far. So we'll give you an update on that next week. Chuck, if you have anything to add.
Yeah, I would say like yesterday was super busy.
Mhm.
I would argue that it's an interesting gauge because the Western Farm Show is very much a more general type farm show than like the Niagara event. But just like Niagara, we had multiple vegetable producers come and find us because they knew that we were going to be there, which was interesting to see. I had a great conversation with I think one of the people that Ron just mentioned in their project, as well as other farmers who have harvest related technology challenges that I think we have a solution for. It's just a matter of proving it out. And it relates to, like, if people that went to Niagara, it relates to the work that Eno has done and the broccoli harvester that was done in Quebec. There is some crossover work that can happen here, and so those growers are interested. I just have to tell them that it's going to be 2 years, right? It's not this year. It's this stuff is going to happen, and all in all, it's very enjoyable.
And next week we have the Ottawa Farm Show, which goes from Tuesday to Thursday, and that's just off of the airport there in Ottawa. And then we also have the New York Organic Summit, which is the beginning of April 3rd to 5th. And then the International Symposium of Robotics and Automation, which is on the 22nd of July in Kansas. So more information is put on there if you want to look that up.
Yeah.
If anyone does have other events coming up, just let me know if you want them added to the agenda.
Yeah, I'm heading, I might have mentioned this before, but I'm heading to a robotics summit, agricultural robotics summit in Pittsburgh and that's on the 16th to the 18th of April. Okay, so there's a little startup robotics kind of hub manufacturing hub in that area. So I've been asked to attend that.
I'll get some information on that and throw that in.
Just to ask Chuck quickly, on the Ottawa Valley Farm Show, will you be attending? Because Giuliano and I were thinking of going. I think we heard there was going to be some announcement there or something regarding the Innovation Farms initiative.
Not that I know of.
Okay.
So I will not be because I'm away. But
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. We will go on to the next bit, which is project update. So I'm just going to share my screen here. Get my presentation. There we are. So we just wanted to go through and present to the working group the funding priorities for the next 5 years. With this. So year one, which is our current year right now, we're doing Nexus trials and identifying and removing weeds from lettuce crops. We're also doing an autonomous soil sampler with BioEnterprise Fertilizer Challenge project using the Koichi robot, Chrysler probe, and the soil optics combined together. The partners on that one are the University of Guelph and Phoenix. Probably butchering that name too, but that's all right.
Connexio. Yeah.
Testing performance and ROI of the Orion as well as another item. We're going to be partnering with Ian Smith and the University of Guelph Muck Research Station as well. So this is what we're looking to do this year as we go through all of this. And then for years 2 to 4, what we're looking to kind of focus on for research and funding is farm droid onion trials. So currently the farm droid has no plans to undertake modification to the seeding unit or the shielding modifications on their actual unit, but we'll be going through planting methods, seeding with the robot, weed control, cost comparison to conventional practices, modifications of shielding to reduce crop damage. The partners would be Ian Smith again, and then the Bradford Muck Station. With the Oreo trials, we would be doing chemical application with weed control, mechanical weed control, seeding, cost comparisons, and hopefully using a laser module for weeding trials as well. Then we also have the Picada system lens trials, tissue sampling trials. So the Picada system lens is essentially giving you real time. I think it's within 2 minutes, if I'm correct, Chuck. Tissue samples of the actual plant. So we want to do some research on how that can go into nitrogen applications and also reduction as well, so that you're getting it at the time that's needed. And then get the Nexus trials continuing. We want to do roughly 5 to 7 acres of leafy greens to prove its viability. Then years 2 to 4 continued. We have more TED trials at Cave Springs, what we'd like to do under vine weed control, UVC light weed control, and then also UVC light for disease control. Additional testing locations at strawberry operations possibly as well to use for disease control. And then we're also looking at the Tavel apple harvest trials, is what we'd like to hopefully help with adoption to a point, because they aren't looking to manufacture for the Canadian market, I should say. So if we can find a manufacturer to get licensing to build the harvester in Ontario for the Canadian market, and then also trialing it to get an ROI on the actual unit itself. Oz trials, which would be performing tests and demonstrations at the Western Fairgrounds in our infield, so inside the racetrack there, where we have roughly around 3 to 4 acres that we could cultivate. Helping with the community gardens, that's another way we can engage, the urban audience there as well, and have students work with the robots on site. So whether that be in high school or in post-secondary. I see Keith Ann has a question here.
Hi, so this is so that I have a better understanding, since I'm a newbie and I'll play the newbie card for a while. These projects, are they, like, who owns these projects? Are they from companies that are part of this organization and they're running them individually and then giving you updates, or these are funded by the AgRobotics organization? Can you help me clarify that?
So these ones specifically is funding that's coming from Farm Credit Canada, and then also OMAFRA will be helping to fund the research and development in these. Mostly OMAFRA, I'm going to say. Farm Credit Canada is kind of a separate thing. I shouldn't say that, actually. So the OMAFRA funding is basically to help with the adoption of AgRobotics. So part of that, we have to project the 5 years of funding and what we're planning to use some of this funding for research. So a lot of this funding will go through Chuck and the partners he's working with to get this information out, and then we can present this all to the working group as well. Chuck, if you wanted to elaborate as well.
Well, and I think to answer your question, Katani, it's kind of a mixture of companies that have proposed this, as well as our own initiatives. And I think what Aaron is laying out is kind of our initial kind of cut as to what we're thinking we're going to do.
Okay.
I think what Aaron will do as well is he will share this with the working group. And if people have some comments on it and how they either, if they say, hey, this is a good idea, I want to be involved, I don't want to be involved.
Okay.
And then, or if the group thinks that we've missed something that we should be doing, everything that's laid out here, the stuff for this year is somewhat, those wheels are kind of set in motion.
Okay.
But as the years go forward, these priorities can be modified, changed, addressed, enhanced. You know what I mean? Like it's not necessarily locked in at this point, but we want to start getting some input. And until we actually have a document like this to work from, it's been very much kind of just up in everybody's brains.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right?
Fair enough. This is sort of a 5-year roadmap of what there's a couple of things you're doing and a handful of things you'd like to do. And then as participants and stakeholders get clarified and funding organizations, this can crystallize, turn it into an initiative, and then moves on. Perfect. Okay. This is a pipeline. Makes sense.
On top of all that, if anyone does have any feedback on anything we're presenting here, as Chuck was saying, please let us know. If you think there would be some benefit or something that we are missing that we should be focusing on, we really want to hear feedback from the working group. We want to use the working group as kind of a steering, I guess, for our research and what we're collecting.
Yeah, I don't want people to think that everything is here is set in stone.
Yep.
Right. That's I think this is a starting point, and until you put something on paper, this is how you start making it look real.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And just a few other comments with respect to the funding. A lot of funding also is coming from grower organizations, from the processing industry, and it's used to leverage funding through the Sustainable Canadian Agriculture Partnership as well. So as well as CAIN, the Canadian Agriculture Automation Intelligence Network. There's a lot of partners involved. And so, maybe there'll be some partners from IRAP as well and OCI. There's like lots of opportunities here to continue to build on this work. And that's what this group has been really good at doing, is building these cross-functional teams to get some of this work done. So
no, it's really good because again, as each of our organizations comes, we always get announcements coming to us about saying, hey, this funding just opened up, please let your partners know, and having this pipeline in front of us always helps, right?
Well, and every organization has their specialty, right? So IRAP has a place in this, OCI has a place in this, the universities have a place in this, my tax has a place in this. And part of this is that it's just this whole, like, we're kind of just putting it out there and saying, this is what's happening.
Yeah.
And so that we all kind of know, right? So that we're not operating in like a vacuum or in a silo, right? A part of this is just saying, here's what's going on.
Yeah, no, that's good. Thank you.
And then for year 5, we wanted this to be kind of the showcase year. So we want to push for demonstration to build confidence with growers and processors. And we also want to showcase the data and the practices where it helps growers to be more sustainable and also hit on government mission targets. So that way that we can kind of, I guess, the farmer can have that proof going forward, or even the processor as well, because that can be a huge item when the market demands it. So those are kind of what we've been thinking of. Like I said, we really appreciate feedback. And if you see anything that should be changed, I will put this out on the website so you'll be able to see it. But yeah, please reach out to us if you do have any thoughts or concerns on anything along here. There we go. So going to the next item, we will go to our funding opportunities, and we have Brian Lynch from the Vineland Research Station, who is going to give us an update on the Emergent Horticulture Opportunities Fund. Brian?
Yeah, thanks, Aaron. So I'll really quickly just introduce this. So this is a new opportunity that Vineland is putting out there in collaboration with Sustainable Cap and OMAFRA. Essentially, this is a fund that's targeting specialty crops. You can find documentation on our website. I'll put a link up in the chat soon. And we have a big appendix that sort of goes through all those crops. And this is targeting about sort of like a 4 general areas, looking at sustainable enhanced production practices, pest and disease, variety development, and automation is in there as well. And there's a number of different activities such as evaluating new production practices or IPM, market research, tech roadmaps, feasibility studies, things like that that are eligible. It's a overall 50-50 match type of fund, which I think we're all used to hearing from many different opportunities. Project costs around $15,000 to $50,000, and project durations around 6 months to 2 years. It can't be leveraged with other federal provincial grant programs, unfortunately. And in-kind contributions are helpful to be able to demonstrate industry support, but not eligible for matching funds. Essentially, the point of this is to be able to bring people to Vineland to work with us. So the funds are looking at basically covering activities at Vineland to have us help you get further down the road with projects. The one other thing too is that it needs to include 2 or more project contributors, and there's a few different categories in there, including growers, association partners, for-profit companies, consultants, and OMAFRA crop specialists. I won't belabor it anymore. If anyone has questions about this, you can reach out to myself, Evan Pilkington, who's also on the call, or you can just follow the links, and we've got contacts for our business development office in the documentation on our website.
Perfect. Thank you, Brian. Other item that came up for funding that's new, with Thrive that presented, I think, last week or the week before. Thrive Alberta Innovates Climate Challenge is now open till March 29th. I put a link on the agenda as well if anyone's interested in learning more about that and going deeper into that. The Greenbelt Funding Foundation will be accepting letters till the 22nd of March. So if you want to get on those, do it relatively soon. And I know also at the end of this month, I do believe on the 28th, the Agriculture Technology Innovation Initiative will also be closing their applications at that point, which is really fantastic one if you have some innovative technology that you're looking to adopt. And with that, I think we will shift over to a round table just in case anyone has items they want to bring up or thoughts. Here, I'll also be sharing our AgRobotics website too. I'll put that on the agenda going forward just so everyone knows where to go for that.
Hi, Aaron. This is Captain here. If I can just very quickly jump in.
Yep.
As you were talking about programs, I don't know if everybody's aware of this or not, but there's an app that I'm always telling people about. It's called the Canada Business app. It's available on both platforms. If you're aware of it, that's great. If you're not, it actually is a really useful app that outlines provincial and federal programs that are available for anything, whether you're starting a new business, whether it's related to funding, teaching, anything. And if you just type in agri at the search bar, I got 44 different programs available to the agricultural industry right now, anywhere from hiring people to funding marketing, sales, innovation, etc. I can't even list all of them. Get the app. It's really useful, and it like I said, opens up links to programs that most people aren't even aware of. All right, so it's called the Canada Business app. All right, just wanted to put that out there.
I'll try to see if I can get that in the agenda for next week as well. I see Chuck has his hand up.
Yeah, I didn't want to speak out. I want others to have an opportunity, but I do have an update on the apple harvesting project. I have a meeting with Tavel in this afternoon with 2 growers. We had 4 growers initially interested in participating in the Tavel project. So far, 2 of those growers have backed out. So we have 2 left. And some of the reasons for backing out is that some of the growers are being counseled to not use the ATI funding for a harvesting project, to use it for other things. So there's a lot of competition, for the technology, and so it's a bit disappointing. But we're going to, I guess, keep moving forward, and so I will let the group know what the outcome of these last 2 growers are. And because I think our window for bringing the harvesters in really is this year, and if we don't have this settled in the next couple of weeks, then we're going to put it off for a year. So I'll keep the group posted.
Fantastic. Any other items anyone wants to bring up? Anything with presentations or even some of those priorities that we're looking on funding for the next 5 years? No? Well, I guess that's it. That means we're doing a good job on selecting what we're looking to do. So
I was just waiting for other people to speak up too. Yeah, so I'm going to be giving a presentation on, I think the 18th of March to the Eastern Ontario Berry Growers Association about the AgRobotics Working Group, as well as some opportunities of technologies for perennial cropping systems. Chuck, I'm going to revise some presentations I've done in the past. I'm going to include the burrow and the vitirover in there as well, in those presentations. And then there's also the annual, used to be called the Muck Crops Conference, but now it's Grower Information Days at the Ontario Crops Research Center, April 3rd and 4th. And I'm giving presentations on a couple of things there. And
Okay, those dates are confirmed now?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
the 3rd and 4th. I'm
right.
presenting on the 3rd a couple of presentations that aren't technically focused on robots and automation, but robots and automation will be presented as solutions to the problems that they're dealing with. So part of our integrated management
Okay.
approach. And yeah, so those are the dates for that conference. And I'm sure that Jeff probably, or Kevin, will be presenting on the work was done over the past season with the Naya Oreo, as well as the Farm Droid, and maybe a little bit on the project that will be happening with the Nexus there.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know they did find a grower to cooperate with the Nexus, so that was
Yep.
settled this week, which is nice. And Mary Ruth is being quiet, but her and I get to be on TV next week. Are you okay with me announcing that, Mary Ruth?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I guess we're going to be on TV Ontario with Steve Paikin next week. So
Are you going to be showcasing the robots, or what's going to be talked about?
That's what it's all about, ag robots.
Excellent. You're famous, as my daughter would say.
There's a poem by Dylan Thomas, and one of the lines is famous among the apple carts. So that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
It's in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah. So if you're all over the internet, you're famous. Basically, that's what my 10-year-old thinks. So
I tell Kate with all the social media stuff is that when all of that makes you money, then you're famous. Until it makes you
exactly.
money, then it's just
That's a good
it's just
point.
life.
Yeah. Well, that's exciting.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Any
just
other?
an
Oh, go ahead.
interesting trivia. I met Steve Pagan, and he reads 5 newspapers every morning before he goes to work. The guy
I've heard that before. Yeah.
he is an information machine. It's unbelievable.
Any other items anyone like to bring up or talk on? Yes, Matt Stevens.
Yeah, so Chuck, I'm not sure my orchard in Simcoe is well suited for the Tavel robots. And since we're focused on robotic thinning, it might be a little too close for comfort. But anyway, if the project's going to fall through this year and I can be helpful, let me know. The orchard's more medium density, so I'm not sure it's well suited for that robot. But if the alternative is it gets kicked down a year and you really don't want that to happen, let me see if I can help.
Well, what I was thinking then, I'll send you the requirements, like what the machines can fit into. Okay.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks.
And actually, I'm going to send the same to the Simcoe Research Station as well, just to make sure that it fits.
Sounds great. Thanks.
Any other items with anyone else? No. Okay, well, we do have 8 minutes left, but with that, I guess we can adjourn the meeting. Thank you everyone for coming and putting your input. If you do have anything, I will put that, it'll be up hopefully by the next week, all the priorities for funding. Please let us know if you have any questions or qualms with that, or if you think there'd be anything beneficial to be added, please let us know. Thank you. Have a good day. Great weekend.
Thank you.
All right, don't get into too much trouble, Aaron.
I'll try not to.
Thank you, everybody.
He's going on a stag. He's coming down my way, so